Here are 5 easy mixing techniques to make you sound like a pro DJ. The first method that we're going to be discussing is called beat matching. Beat matching is the process of taking an existing song that's playing and matching it with another song's tempo or beat per minute. Now, in today's day and age, most if not all controllers will have a sync button, which will automatically sync up your track's tempo with the other track's beat per minute. However, when I first learned on turntables, we didn't have the sync button. Now, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't use the sync button. In fact, I think that you should use all helpful tools to make you the best DJ possible. But learning how to beat match without the sync button is a great way to hone your DJ skills overall. Now, if you are going to use the sync button, make sure that you turn on the key lock feature so that your song remains the same key. Let's quickly cover our beat matching tutorial. The first thing I want you to do is load a track on your left deck, all right? We're going to load the same track on the second deck, or deck B, all right? On your SB3 controller, if this is what you're using, I want you to hit the key lock button, the sync buttons, and also the auto loop, all right? The auto loop we want to hit on the first beat of our track, so it should sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it repeats. On the second deck, or the second track, we have the same thing playing, and we're gonna aim, once we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna aim to hit this button on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Now we're gonna fade this up and check, and it should sound really good. Now it's a little bit off, you can hear. What we're listening for is what's called like a flanger effect. So once these two songs are right on top of each other and on your visuals, there is a line, and you want this line to basically, if this were a race between this deck and this deck, you want each track to tie every single time at the exact same time. So we're just gonna make a minor correction here, and you should start to hear that flanger effect. And that's how you can check yourself, know that you're doing a great job. Once you've graduated over here, all you're gonna do is fade this one track down, and we're gonna bring in a separate song at a different beat per minute, but we're gonna use that sync button to bring it to the same beat per minute. The rule of thumb is plus or minus 5 beats per minute so that your track doesn't sound too far off, okay? All right, so there's the one. It had a little bit of an intro to it, so I wasn't really sure, but we're gonna bring this other one up again. And we're gonna make sure that our sync button is enabled. So we're at 90 beats per minute on this deck and on this deck, and we're gonna start counting again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and we bring it in. And we're looking with our eyes, and we're making sure that things are tying on our tracks, on our software program. And we're slowly bringing up our fader, and we're bringing down the other fader at the same time. Boom! The next technique we're going to be discussing is called slam mixing, or dropping on the one. So what you're going to do is you're going to stop one track and begin another track at the same exact time. And this is to create emphasis or an impact on your dance floor. Slam mixing is typically done with 2 recognizable tracks. However, for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to hook you up with 2 royalty-free tracks that you can use and practice along with us at home. When it comes to slam mixing, I want you to take these 2 fingers, I want you to place them on either side of your crossfader, and I want you to hit them on the same beat at the same time. All right, let's get familiar with this, because what's going to happen is when we move over to the play button, this one's going to be stopping and this one's going to be starting at the same time. So in order for this to sound really, really good, what we want to do is we want to make sure that both tracks are in the same beat per minute. All right, so we have them set to 91 beats per minute. We're gonna hit this play button and we're gonna fade this up. We're gonna bring this fader up too, but nothing's playing here until we hit this play button. And we're gonna do it on the one. Here we go, ready? 5, 6, 7, and the end result should be a nice, clean slam mix. Another helpful method to help us mix is called filtering. Now we're going to use a high or low pass filter to take out the pre-existing track and bring in the other track. Now using your filter knob is extremely versatile because it gives you the opportunity to get very creative with how you want to bring in your next track. You can slam it in, you can beat match it in, hell, you can even scratch it in. Now we're going to quickly demonstrate the high pass and low pass filter transition. So what I want you to do is I want you to just throw any track up here. And if you're familiar with the way that your mixer is laid out, here is your EQ bank, which is dedicated to this jog wheel and this track that's playing on deck A. All the way down at the bottom is your low pass and high pass filter. Go ahead and just sweep that all the way to the left. That's a low pass filter. That's gonna let just the lows or those bass heavy sounds to come through. Now, if you twist this knob to the other side, you're gonna notice that those bass frequencies disappear and it's just the highs that are gonna pass through. Cool, right? Now, how do we use this in a transition setting? Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw this track up and then we're going to bring the second track on deck B up at the same time. So we're gonna hit the sync button and make sure that the tracks are at the same beat per minute. And then when we fade this up fader up, when we fade our volume fader up, we're going to twist the filter knob to the high pass sign and we're gonna watch what happens. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, and 1. Yeah. The next technique that we're going to be discussing is called backspinning. This is when you're going to take your record or your jog wheel and spin it counterclockwise in vinyl mode if you're using a jog wheel to get that awesome record spin backward type of effect. Just like the filter knob gives us versatility and creativity to bring in a new track, so does the backspin. You can use the backspin for slam edit or beat matching and continue to move forward within your mix. We're gonna dive into the backspin transition. Now this is a lot of fun, but you do need to make sure that the vinyl button is turned on before you begin this transition. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna load deck A, and we're gonna beat match with deck B. 5, 6, 7, and. Once we get to full volume, we're gonna take deck A and we're gonna spin the record or the jog wheel backwards. And fade down at the same time. Let's do it again. This time with deck B. The last method we're going to be discussing is probably the most well-known. It's scratching. Now, scratching is the art of taking the record or your jog wheel and just manipulating the sound by moving it back and forth. That's the easy part. There are many techniques to scratching. We're going to go over a few basics right now. Throw both faders up to 100%. We're going to locate the top of the sample or the beginning of the sample on deck B. Right there. We're going to take our hand and we're going to place it right on top of the jog wheel and we're going to make sure that the vinyl button is on. Next thing you're going to do, just going to listen to me and I'm going to do a couple of easy scratches and I want you to do the same, okay? 5, 6, 7, and. just kidding. So there you have it. There are 5 easy techniques to make you mix like a pro. If you found this helpful, do us a favor, like the video, comment below, and we'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this video from me, Mr. Wired Up, and Digital DJ Gear. For more video content and to support me on Patreon, please check out my social media channels at Mr. Wired Up or check out my website at justgetwired.com. For great deals on all professional grade DJ and lighting equipment, visit digitaldjgear.com or visit us in person. Musically Yours is conveniently located at 283 Main Street in Hackensack, New Jersey, just 15 minutes away from New York City via the George Washington Bridge or Lincoln Tunnel. To learn more about all of our pro audio, lighting, DJ, and recording equipment, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel now. Until next time, I'm Mr. Wired Up with Digital DJ Gear. Thanks for watching.